Money grows, peace can grow. Money stack can grow. Only money grows.
What's up, YouTube fam? It's your man King Marcel, and we back with another video. So things are speeding up tremendously. I know I keep saying that each video, but it's like day after day, this news just keep coming in faster and faster. So Melanie King has dropped a video saying that basically a bill or some type of litigation was passed that allows the government to force people to get vaccines, even if they don't want to, for the sake of public health. We knew that things were going to end up going to this point, getting to this point, because that's been the direction that they've been moving us in for the last couple decades. They've been trying to push this mark of the beast thing, and it's like they are expediting this tremendously with everything that's going on top of this, with the silver and the stock market damn near about to crash. So now this is like they hitting us on all fronts. So we're about to get into this video. Make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys are joining the kingdom. But with that being said, let's get into this.
Well, it's happened, guys. Take a look at this. A federal court quietly ruled that the government can force any medical intervention on you with no evidence or judicial review. Almost no one noticed. The Ninth Circuit said as long as officials say public health, courts shouldn't question them. But we just fought back. We just petitioned the Supreme Court to review this unprecedented ruling. This may become the most consequential Supreme Court case of the 21st century.
Literally.
This case is not just about the COVID crisis, said the HFDF president and founder Leslie Manookian. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's about the future of liberty in America.
Exactly. Because it's not, you guys got to understand that this is not just going to deal with COVID if COVID comes back. They can label the flu, they can label anything a public health crisis and say that you have to get all of these vaccines. From you to your children to the grandparents to everybody, they can say you have to get this. What about that is freedom? You should have the choice to decide for yourself if you want to take something of theirs or not. And a lot of cases proving that a lot of these vaccines do a lot of more harm than they do good, and yet they are perpetuating, forcing us to get it if we choose to opt out of getting it. It's like, it don't make people feel safe getting it. You know what I'm saying? It don't make people feel comfortable getting it. When you start talking about, hey, we gonna force y'all to get it. You and it's like you already have it planned that you're going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like you're already passing, litigation. Like you already know something else is going to happen. Like you know another COVID-like sickness is going to come about, and you guys just want to be able to make us get it. Even though the people who got the COVID vaccine, when COVID came out, it did nothing to really help the situation. So it's like, this is ridiculous. This is just all to impede on our rights and to force us down a demonic system. That's what I truly believe, because it's like they can't explain why. This doesn't make sense.
Cole Shanahan called the Ninth Circuit's ruling terrifying. She's right.
Yeah.
The circuit court's ruling threatens to make COVID-era tyranny the new normal. Now, I have the entire briefing about this, but let me play this. I actually have something with Nicole Shanahan actually talking about it.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello.
And by definition, can they even be called a vaccine if they don't stop the spread?
Thank you.
Right?
Well, did you hear about what happened for Health Freedom Defense Fund last week? I don't know if you're aware of this.
No, I'm not too familiar with your organization. I've heard a little bit about it, but yeah, tell us, share.
So I mentioned that we had sued the Los Angeles Unified School District in 2021. Well, we sued them twice in 2021 because first we sued them over mandating the shot when it was EUA, and then they basically duped the court into believing that they weren't going to issue a mandate because they had
Mm.
repealed their first one, rescinded it. And then, so the court dismissed the case and said, look, there's nothing for us to adjudicate at this point. The case is no longer ripe. We're not going to deal with it. We're dismissing the case. 17 days later,
Excuse me.
LAUSD implemented a new mandate saying that employees could not test, and it fired a couple of weeks later 500 employees. It
Mm.
went on to fire or displace more than 1,000 in total. And it denied. It said, "Well, we accept your religious exemption or your medical exemption," but they refused to accommodate them, so they pushed them out. People were pushed out. No pensions. They lost their seniority. They lost everything. They were fired. They lost their jobs. I mean, it was really outrageous. So we filed another lawsuit in November of 2021. And in this case, we argued that the shots do not stop transmission or infection. And we knew this because CDC said that
Mm.
in late July of 2021. And CMS confirmed that. Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services confirmed that in, I believe it was October of 2021. And so if they don't stop transmission or infection, we argued, then they are not a public health issue. They are therapeutic, they
Thank
are
you.
a private matter, and they must be treated as such. We also argued that natural immunity is real and that the Supreme Court case from 1905 called Jacobson versus Massachusetts doesn't apply because Jacobson was predicated on the Supreme Court's assumption that the smallpox vaccination was safe and effective because it had been in use for many, many years.
So we got all this evidence that these vaccines don't actually protect you. Like it can protect you, but it's not a guarantee. So if it's not a guarantee, to say that you can force this on someone, even though there is evidence that these things do harm to people. These things, again, like what she just based it, man, it's simplest form. These things can do more harm than they can do good. And yet they are trying to force people to take them. It seems very disingenuous that your thesis on why this needs to happen is public health when it seems like it goes against public health. And it's like, come on, don't ask no questions, just do what we say. Man, things are getting really crazy.
Now,
man.
I will leave that aside because I don't think it was safe or effective, but that's what people claimed and that's what the court
Right.
accepted.
That's great.
Yeah, well, we ended up doing super well. At first, it got dismissed. Then we had a fantastic argument in front of a 3-judge
I never
panel
even
in the Ninth
heard of
Circuit
this
on
or
appeal,
her.
and they found in our favor. And then there was what's called an en banc review, meaning a broader review of the Ninth Circuit. And usually it takes 9 to 10, 12 months to get a ruling, an opinion, or a decision out of the Ninth Circuit. It took 3 months to get their decision this time. And they ruled against us last Thursday, July 31st.
Why?
And they said that all that mattered was that there was a public health emergency. I don't think that's true. We actually argued that COVID was not smallpox. Smallpox had a 30% death rate. We knew already by the time when LAUSD mandated their shot that the death rate was in line with the seasonal flu. It was absurd. It was not.
And that's what I was telling everybody during the time when COVID happened. In order for COVID to make sense, the flu had to disappear. And literally, when y'all go back and look at those numbers in 2020 and 2021, flu cases were down tremendously to record lows. But what replaced it? It was COVID. So theoretically, can we say that COVID was just being named COVID and it was just the annual flu that goes around every year? That there are deaths from the flu every year and they just got reclassified as COVID deaths? But we know this now because there have already been studies and investigations done that prove this. But we want to still say this is a conspiracy that these folks did that on purpose? Man, wake up.
It was not an emergency anymore. We knew
Y'all
from
gotta,
the spring of 2020 that 4% of Los Angeles County residents had already been exposed and recovered. Literally 4% in April, May of 2020. This was known. A year in advance. It means everybody's been exposed practically at that point
Exactly, because
by
people were getting sick, and in November they were saying it was the earliest cases happened in 2019, November, October. They were saying it was October, November of 2019 is when COVID really first started, and when it spread to where, you know what I'm saying, it was uncontainable. Was in what was it, March of 2020? It had been, I felt like I had COVID, but it wasn't really COVID, it was the flu. And in December of 2019, I got sick as a dog. And this was before it had got blown up and really started getting talked about in January. But I had went through it already, had healed up from it and everything. But then they made a big deal about it, and it just seemed like this. We are living evil is times, because the things that we are finding out these folks are doing to us and moving us like we are just mad sheep. That's what it feels like we just all mad sheep going along with the program. Just like how that's another video that we're gonna get into later. But man, this is just crazy.
August of 2021. And so we argued it's not the same thing, and therefore Jacobson does not apply. And the court said it doesn't matter whether or not the shot stops transmission or infection. All that matters is that the school district could have assumed that it did.
Why?
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yes, it is, Nicole.
That's a terrifying precedent. Are there any appeals available?
What?
We can appeal to the Supreme Court, and so we're considering.
What?
We have got to the point where literally anybody can build a fully working app without knowing how to code.
That's disturbing.
Is this not insane? Like, I haven't heard about this. Have
Me
you heard
either.
of
I just
anything
said
about
I
this?
did not hear about none of this.
Like, essentially, this means there are no guardrails. If the government, if this was the
Basically.
COVID again, right? They can mandate that
anything.
everyone has to have the shot. Like, that they can do any medical intervention to the public without any approval, without any process, and there will be nothing you can do about it.
Think about the ramifications of that. What if they end up trying to say that we need to put Neuralink in everybody's brain because of this new public health issue that's going on, and then we will all have to get a damn brain procedure. Like the ramifications of this being passed and it actually becoming litigation that we all have to subscribe to is very disturbing, and I'm not going for it. I'm there finna go and talk to somebody or get involved in something to make sure this don't come about, because they are out of their minds if they think that they are going to tell me I'm going to have to get some Neuralink or something implanted in me for public health. Man, these people out there damn.
She said a lot there may have been a little confusing. I encourage you to watch that part again, just to understand she was just walking you through this. But this is what just happened. And unless if the Supreme Court does not take up this case, this is the law of the land. If they take it up, they may still most likely vote against us. Right? Because what is coming out, guys, that we've talked about this. That is the plan. That is where they're going towards. What the intervention is to have the mark of the beast patch that Bill Gates has unveiled, that I've showed you. It puts quantum dots and a QR code under your skin so that your vaccine passport. They said that there are going to be multiple vaccines that are rolling out for the pandemics that are all coming out. This is part of the plan. We know Elon Musk just said that they're going to be mass implanting Neuralinks this year. They now have the capability to mass implant this. Well, what if the government decides that we all need to do this? Like, guys, there is no limit to it. Are you understanding how insane this is? So I wanted to give you that update, but then Let's look at this. Grocery stores are now biometric checkpoints. Signs inside Brooklyn and Manhattan Wegmans locations openly admit shoppers are being scanned, faces, eyes, and even voice prints, and that the data is being stored. Not deleted, stored. That's a quiet reversal from what customers were originally told when this program launched. Some shoppers say it feels invasive. Others say it feels inevitable. It is inevitable. And for years now, the New York City Council has failed to move stalled legislation that would limit biometric storage. Well, I wonder why it's been stalled, guys. Okay. Is this really about security at Wegmans? Or are we being trained to accept biometric surveillance everywhere we go? Let's look at this.
Details tonight on what Wegmans does with its biometric data of shoppers. Signs at the Brooklyn and Manhattan stores say facial recognition, eye scans, and voice prints are used and kept to increase security. But when Wegmans originally launched a pilot program, management said any data of shoppers would be deleted. Some customers complain the policy makes them feel uneasy. Legislation in the city council to block biometric storage has stalled for years. Still details tonight on what.
Why would a grocery store even need your biometric information? Why? It makes zero sense. There's zero reason. And then for them to store it, like none of it makes sense other than this is what is going to be rolling out along with digital ID, guys. They have the cameras now that do facial recognition. They know who you are. I've given you report after report on what is happening. Okay. They want mass surveillance system of not just the United States, but the entire world. That's part of what Palantir's goal is. And also part of that is thought crime, pre-crime, being able to read your face. They have actually said this in the documentation to see where your emotions are, see what you're thinking, see, they can read faces of aggression, all types of things, and know who you are. This is not the future. This is now. And it's not just New York City, guys. They roll it out slowly. Places like New York, places that are more socialist and communist and all. But guys, it is going to be mass put out here for 2026. And they've told us this much. But let's take a look at this.
Wegmans in New York City is storing your face on a computer server. This happens in Brooklyn and Manhattan. I saw them putting up the signs. That's how we started reporting the story. They're expanding a previous pilot that only collected workers' face data, and now they're collecting, according to the signs at the stores, voice data, eye scans, and facial recognition data from anyone who enters their stores. Wegmans is not the first and not the only business to do this in the city. You might remember Madison Square Garden has relied on facial recognition technology to eject people that venue disagrees with or doesn't like. Wegmans spokespeople say, look, we're following the law in New York City by telling you that we're collecting this information. But still, as you might have seen online, some people are still saying, that's enough for me not to go to your stores. Wegmans says the Brooklyn and Manhattan location are part of a small set of the Wegmans empire that is using this biometric data collection. So it's enough that upstate lawmakers have asked Wegmans, where are you using this in Rochester? Where is this going to expand to? So it's definitely something to keep an eye on as more stores might start collecting biometric data to make decisions about how they want to run their business.
The instant fix for snorers without touching their nose.
Most people waste money on fixes and still end up sleeping.
Like I told you, they're doing things no one asked for. No one wants this. No one asked for it. Just like the $1 trillion AI data centers all around the country, digital ID, social credit score. No one wants any of this, but yet they're going ahead with it. Why? Because I've told you we are entering the last days. That Jesus Christ is returning. You don't have to believe me, but this is what it is. Peter Thiel, who will be surveilling the entire world, is obsessed with the Antichrist. Like, no. There are documentaries made about his obsession with the Antichrist. And this is the man who was surveilling the entire country and contracted with multiple governments around the world to surveil citizens. This is where we're headed into.
So some places do need your permission. New York City is one of them, but more weirdness out of New York. There are only about 4 other states in the country that require companies like this to let you know that they're collecting your biometric data. And that means you're going to be walking into stores without any protection. You won't be have any idea whether your face, your eyes, or possibly even your voice is being collected as you simply go grocery shopping. It's a new trend for loss protection and to real understand how we're shopping in the stores. They're going to use all kinds of ways to justify their Big Brother activity. But privacy experts here warning this really shouldn't be normalized for the kind of surveillance that it's doing. And the biggest question is, what happens to that data? Who's got it? Who owns that? Who's storing it? How do we know that's safe? Of course it's not safe. These companies lose data constantly. So if you're in Texas, Washington, state of California, and Illinois, you're in luck. At least they have to post that sign outside that says, Ainsley, hey, welcome in. We're going to be recording your biometric data. Now, if I saw that at my grocery store, here's what I would do. I would vote with my wallet. I'd be like, no thanks. I'm going next door. I'm going to the other grocery store. I don't care if it's worse, because I'm not going to let you do that to me. I'm voting my wallet, period.
Okay, here's the statement from the store. It's only in a few of their stores. It says, in a small fraction of our stores that exhibit an elevated risk, we have developed cameras equipped with facial recognition technology.
You want to phase out human beings and human jobs. What service do you have to us? You have none. So why would we support anything that y'all do? And that goes for any company that is about to try to adopt this same mindset. We need to just not support it. Because if you do support it, you're supporting your downfall. That's what we got to understand. You have to turn this on. Because other than that, we are going to be in perpetual servitude. And I don't think none of y'all want that.
This technology is solely used for keeping our stores secure and safe. The system collects facial recognition data and only uses it to identify individuals who have been previously flagged for misconduct. Kurt, will we start seeing this in other stores around the country?
Yes, you will. So keep your eyes open for that.
But there's only a handful of states that require them to notify you. So you could be shopping at a store now and you have no idea. They don't have to tell you anything. They're allowed to do it privately. Even if you ask, they can lie to you about it. Guys, this is what's going on right now. And in the other states, well, they just have to put a little sign. Many people probably won't pay attention. But talking about them keeping our data, let's take a look at this.
I think one of the biggest issues is that there's this idea that your biometrics can't be erased once they're already in. So what does that even mean? And then
It can't be erased.
Does that make the systems especially risky if there's a breach? Like, talk to me about how that works.
Yeah, if you have your credit card stolen, you call the company and you say, hey, my car was stolen, they give you a new number.
Right.
That's easy to get a new number. If you have your identity stolen, there's even ways you can get a new social security number because, it's harder, but it's possible. But there's a process for that. If your face is documented, we're not in a Mission Impossible movie. You can't undo that very easily.
Right.
So facial recognition and a lot of these biometrics, kind of like fingerprint that's been around for a while, it is really a permanent medium of ID. And it's, if the bad guys get their hands on it, which every day there's new data breach. And a lot of people aren't taking their privacy seriously these days, which leads to an increased cybercrime, cyber risk, extortion, scams, and all kinds of other bad stuff. So people need to take it seriously.
But it's not just people who want to hack us or steal
It could
our
be our
identity.
own government.
The government will have
Thank
it.
you.
And we know
Oops.
what is coming down
It
the
could be our
line
own
with that.
government, man.
Guys, like with the digital ID, where Bill Gates has said you will not be able to exist in society by 2028 if you do not have a digital ID.
2028, excuse me. He said 2028. Ain't that the mark of the beast? Didn't it say you won't be able to buy nor sell? You won't be able to be a part of social norms because of the mark of the beast. Is this not it? He's just blatantly saying it. You will be kicked out of social norms. You will be kicked out of society if you don't get this. I advise y'all to repent.
2020, guys, 2 years. 2 years.
2 years.
Look at this. Speaking of digital ID, Virginia's age verification law of limiting kids to 1 hour of social media per day will be effective on January 1st, 2026.
So it's already.
I didn't even know about
I didn't either.
This bizarre law is yet another attempt to collect our biometric data and violate our privacy. What does this tie into, guys? What does this tie into? Many of the things that say no to bad internet bills, which Lindsey Graham said by February, they want to have it wrapped up of nearly 20 laws that essentially not only force you to get digital ID and force this on us, but also effectively eliminating freedom of speech. Like I kid you not, I've been trying to sound the alarm. No one's paying attention.
Like,
they're doing a
nobody
good job of keeping us
care.
distracted. But this is all coming to a head. All of these things are converging at once. The wars and rumors of wars, even part of the plan, the agenda, even whether government officials know it or not, whether Trump knows it or not, part of the end times, guys, are establishing kingdoms, right? Establishing kingdoms with superpowers. And there will be 3. One with China, one with Russia, and then one with the United States.
Babylon,
Right?
which is
we need
it.
the entire hemisphere. But that's all part of the plan. It's supposed to happen this way.
Yeah.
This is all these unprecedented times, these things that we're seeing that are happening around the world. And in the digital ID, like I told you, they have mosquitoes and ticks now that make us allergic to meat. They have said these things out loud. They said by 2030, the Nokia CEO, as well as Elon Musk, said there will be no more cell phones by 2030, and that you will have to have a brain implant in order to that will be your new phone.
So
There'll be
is
no
this
apps
not
or
saying
any
that
of
the
They have
foundations
said
for that?
this out loud. He just said that we've reached singularity, meaning that AI is now smarter than every human on Earth. Every human on Earth, AI is now surpassed us. We have finally achieved it, and it's ahead of schedule, right? And they said now this thing is uncontrollable. Trump did away with any type of regulations on it by executive order, a month or so ago? So this is all getting to a point. But what do I always tell you? You can't look at what just is happening here. We've got to look globally. We've got to look globally because the things happening in other countries, well, we're in lockstep to have the same things happen here.
The worst state to live in right now is Indiana,
I gotta get
and
the
nobody's
ad blocker.
talking about it.
Jesus Christ, here we go again. The UK government is now proposing mandatory surveillance on every single person's mobile phone. Starting to sound very familiar, this, isn't it? Now, the new law would mean that surveillance software is installed as standard on all new mobile phones and tablets that are sold in the UK. And this software would have blockers in place so it can't be removed. If this becomes UK law, we are totally fucked because there will be no turning back. Once this software exists on everybody's phones, all they'll need to do is alter the restrictions that they want to enforce, and bang, they are now completely controlling everything that you access. The very definition of a nanny state. And how are they excusing this and batting away criticism? Oh, it's for the safety of our children. That is the narrative, that is the justification that they are using.
When they don't care, when they don't even want to release the Epstein files and stuff. Because they own them. So to say it's for children's safety, it's like, come on, y'all are such full of crap, bro.
The truth is, they've
Y'all are
already
so
used this
full
excuse
of
to
it.
slip
It's
in
crazy,
all kinds of laws
man.
that hands more control over to the government. I've said it
what?
before and I'll say it again. This Labour government are more dangerous than most people realise, or can even
This is what we're facing, guys.
Yeah.
These are the things that are going on. I every day I'm shocked that more people aren't paying attention. Now, I just want to show you this. This is actually, let me move this around. So this is the lawsuit that urges the U.S. Supreme Court to review the Ninth Circuit ruling that allows virtually limitless state power under the guise of public health. So it's protecting children, terrorism, immigration, and public health, public safety. So these are the things that we're seeing a sweeping number of bills and regulations coming to the United States and court cases that essentially they all fall under this, and they are removing our freedoms. Okay, so let me see if I can make this even bigger. I don't know if I can. Hold on, because I want to. Well, I'm kind of in the way. But it says on December 23rd, 2025, Health Freedom Defense Fund, California Educators for Medical Freedom, and several individual plaintiffs petitioned the United States Supreme Court to review a case that raises one of the most consequential constitutional questions of our time. Do Americans possess the fundamental right to refuse unwanted medical treatment, even during a public health crisis? A sweeping decision by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals dangerously ignores more than a century of Supreme Court jurisprudence and effectively strips courts of their duty to protect individual liberty. The ruling allows governments to impose mandatory medical interventions without meaningful judicial review, so long as officials invoke public health. Guys, this is insane. So it goes on, but I wanted to give you that information. Like I've said, I've tried to make people aware of the bills that are now being legislated on, bipartisan.
That's Melanie King. She be doing a lot of work. Make sure you guys go and check out her page, because she be getting the news out there. And I just hope that you guys are paying attention. It's people out here who are trying to warn us, who are trying to sound the alarm bells, and I just pray that it's not all for naught, because they got it in their head they about to do what they about to do. And I just hope that you all are preparing and praying to the Most High, repenting of your ways, changing and understanding that the Bible gonna play itself out one way or the other, and it's like, how we gonna come out on the other side of that will be decided on the choices that we make. So I don't know, we just gonna have to endure it to the end, right? But if you guys like this video, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell so that you're notified whenever I do drop a video here. We're on the road to 500 subscribers, so make sure you guys are summing up and joining the kingdom. But with that being said, King Marcel out. Peace.
Who is alive, looking for the prize, that's eternal life, and bringing the chains in my mind, talking real peace of mind.